Good morning, everybody. I'm Sandy Shook. Welcome to Coffee with Sandy. Listen to my show every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. on KRDO News Radio at 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. If you want to hear past shows, go to krdo.com and search for podcasts to listen to all of them. If you want to be on the show or interested in sponsoring the show, reach out to me by text at 719-339-9637 or go to my website, coffeewithsandy.com. Coffee with Sandy promotes connections with business owners and entrepreneurs here in the Pikes Peak region. Why? Because their journey and story changes lives. This journey is important to share and should be heard. Our guest today is Sonya Emph. Hello, Sonya.
Hello.
How are you this morning?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So tell the listeners who you are, what you do, and where you actually do your business.
Okay. So I am a realtor here in Colorado Springs and also the Denver metro area. And I'm with Realty. And I specialize with first-time home buyers, VA loans, when people are trying to get through the military. And
so are you originally from Colorado?
No, I am from the Ohio, Kentucky area.
Ooh, I know that you and I were on the live show with Sips and Stories, a year and a half ago, somewhere around there. So I know that listeners that were part of the live show heard your story, but that's why I ask if you've been from Colorado or not. And how long have you been in Colorado?
I got here in 2010, and my brother is retired military. He was living here, and he was looking to sell his home, and so I was just going through a divorce around that time. So I came here to spend some time with him, and then...
And the mountains got you, right?
Right, in the mountains. And for him, I did painting, tiling, and staging his home because I have a design background.
Wait, tiling?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
you were kind of like a contractor-ish?
Well, I didn't say I was great at it, but it got the job done.
How fun! What was your dream when you were in second grade?
I wanted to be a doctor and also a pilot.
A pilot.
A pilot.
And you did go after that, correct?
I did. I was pre-med, and I also have flown planes. And when my brother and I were little, we had some breathing issues. And we had some very kind doctors, and I think that just left an impact on me.
Wow, that's really neat. So were you shy?
Oh gosh, yes.
And are you shy now?
No. I was shy up until I was 30, and so my family, when they see me now, they're like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
And anybody, if I ever say, I was really shy, they're like, stop, no way. Because, I just go make myself at home, whatever room I'm in now.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so people don't understand that I'm pretty shy, right? And I am, when I go into a room with a group of strangers, it's very hard for me to strike up any kind of conversation. Right? But then, when I have somebody go, you look really familiar, it's like, uh-oh, what did I do? What was your favorite class?
My favorite class was English. I had a really interesting English teacher he didn't just do the normal let's diagram sentences. He had expository composition, logical and critical thinking. So there was a basis for marketing, advertising, and just analyzing.
We're back. I'm Sandy Shook. This is Coffee with Sandy. We're here every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. here on KRDO News Radio at 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. Our guest today is Sonya Emph with Realty. So Sonya, we were talking right before the break about your second grade wishes. And how did you transition into wanting to be a doctor as well as a pilot?
From childhood, I had some very kind doctors just from when I was very little. And I was always fascinated by planes. And so I did both. I was pre-med, and I went on to start flying some planes. And, life takes over. Sometimes we don't get to finish our wish list. So my mother had passed away from cancer when she was only 48. And I, at that point, couldn't imagine taking care of patients like my mom. It had such a heavy impact.
Yeah.
So.
And so what then led you to your real estate career. What was the catalyst that actually brought you to, I know the history,
Right.
but the listeners don't, and I'd really like to know, and let them to know what it is that brought you there for just the jobs that you actually have curated through the years.
Sure. So I went on to work for a fellow who I did project and estate management, and so he had luxury waterfront homes and yachts. And from that point, I learned how to hire contractors, work with them, negotiate bids. That's what started my design background, because I would stage for any time we would sell or just present, picking out finishes or wall paint, that type of thing. And he just got to a point where it was just time for him to retire. And I was with him for over 16 years, and just seemed like a natural extension to use my background to continue. So whenever I do inspections with clients, it's second nature. I can figure out all the things.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the local housing market here in Colorado Springs, and what is a good time to buy?
Well, right now is a great time to buy.
Yeah.
So we have about 4,000 homes on the market, which we're up 100 from last week. And the last week we had 600 price reductions.
Wow.
So this
are they big reductions? Because I know that there was one in my neighborhood that was
yes,
huge.
yes.
Yeah.
We don't have the market that we did, just in recent years. So we are at a point where we do need to prepare our homes very well to be competitive,
right,
to do all the fixes and all the things. The average sale price is around, the median price here is about $460.
Okay.
So,
and that's as of this week?
Yes.
And of course that changes.
It changes. It's
frequently. So
absolutely.
Work with your realtor to make sure that you have. I think that's one of the things that I see a lot because of my lending background.
Right.
I see a lot of homeowners that they want their house listed at this price because Joe across the street,
Right.
3 years ago sold his house for the same amount that they want.
Or they sell an online estimate, which is not connected, which is an algorithm, right? It's not actually connected to the MLS.
Yeah.
So that's why you are better to have a realtor do the comps for you, to tell you what exactly, show you the facts, the statistics of what has actually sold and what it's worth.
With using a realtor with a builder, I'm assuming that that's a good thing as well.
Oh gosh, you want to take your realtor with you before you go to see the home, because the new builds, the builders, they have a list, and when you go there, they sign you in. And if you don't sign in with your realtor, they insist that they're going to represent you. And then it's
harder to back or to get your realtor involved.
Oh, exactly.
I'm assuming.
Right.
I don't know. I've not ever done that, because I've always been told, if you're going to go look at a model home, you need to bring me with you.
Right. And it seems innocent, right? You're like, I'm just going to go look at some houses. I don't want to bother anybody.
Yep.
But the problem is, if you don't have someone representing you, there's times that I have caught things missing from the contract, because they use a separate contract from the regular contract. So they have their own. Every once in a while you see some information missing.
Yeah.
And you need someone to advocate for you. What is in your best interest? Because when we've done walkthroughs, it's called the blue tape day, I have seen crooked window casings. I've seen a lot of things that are damaged, and because I'm sitting there nitpicking, you're sitting there, as a client, looking at all the great things.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to get in my new house.
Yeah.
But then you don't realize, ooh, there's problems.
All the bells and whistles,
Exactly.
and then you don't realize, and I think that that's a great thing to have anyway, is have somebody as a second eye in anything.
Absolutely.
Not just buying a house, but when you're signing a contract with something,
Yes.
or when you're going to the doctor's office. Not that I have done that, but I do know that it's nice to see that my mom has an advocate with her every time she goes, because she's not going to remember everything now when she's older.
Because it's a lot of information too.
And buying a house is even more. That's like a huge purchase.
Yes.
But when we are actually looking at selling a house, what are some of the things that a person should do?
So if you're, just go ahead and take care of those small pesky things you've been ignoring. That leaky faucet, it leaks. Just go ahead and take care of it. And even light fixtures. And it would be a good idea to go ahead and update the light fixtures, because probably when you bought your home, it was older, and that's fine.
But what if I like my light fixtures?
Then, in the very least, what you need to do is change all your light bulbs to something bright and all matching. So
The light
missing
bulbs,
bulb,
okay.
oh yeah, the light
Mhm.
bulbs, if they're missing, you know, because you're going to see this on the internet.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
people are going to think, well, if that's missing, what else is going on?
Mhm.
What else did they neglect?
Yeah. Do most realtors actually use new pictures or do they use old ones? Because I know that my house still looks the same, kind of, sort of, from when I bought it 14 years ago.
Right? Well, it is important that you have your realtor use professional photos. Every once in a while you see somebody try to use their cell phone photos, and you can drastically tell the difference.
Yeah.
And that's not marketing you in the best light. And that's something that your realtor pays for. So it's not coming out of your pocket. And you want it to, because, you know, we're all used to that online TV experience, right? And we enjoy the decorating shows. But if you look online, if you see a dingy thing, it doesn't have the right angles, or it looks like it's a close-up, you don't see the full scale of the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. And people are just going to pass you over. They'll look at the first 5 pictures and keep moving.
Yeah. Well, and I know that one of the things that I had when I was buying, again, it was 14 years ago, so, but be patient. That's what I was being told all the time, is to, you know, even if it's a house that you like, it may not be available, but if it is available, you know, just be patient and don't ask for the moon, you know, or the stars.
Right.
I mean, really, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you really have to know the realtor that you're working with is working under your best interests, not, you know, they know what your dreams are, but they know where your bottom line is.
Right.
And not that you're not going to stretch. I think that with working with your realtor and your lender together, you have some good lenders behind you.
Yes.
I hate
sure
to say
do.
I'm one of them, but
Correct.
but even if I wasn't, I know that you do. Most realtors have 3 to 4 in their list of contacts,
Right.
just so that a potential client can actually, or your client can actually get to the point where they can interview. And you suggest that they do interview.
Yes.
Those lenders.
And there's, as you know, there was one client that we had, it was 3 years ago, that we worked with her for 3 years, and you had given her suggestions about what to do because, you know, she had a particular type of house in mind, and you had a lot of suggestions for her as to how to meet her goals. And so, you know, not everybody's just out to just get what they can get and walk away.
Yeah.
You and I worked with her for over 3 years.
Isn't that crazy?
And we still stay in touch with her.
Yeah.
It's important that you have a good team behind you.
What about the outside of the house? What can people do to actually get that ready?
So curb appeal is important still, no matter what kind of market you're in. So, you know, I've had people just drive off like, nope. So again, light bulbs, make sure those are up and going. If you don't want to replace the fixtures, dust them down. Just clean them. Clean that front door. Might need
I have to dust. Are you kidding me?
A little homework. I know, we're all adults. We don't want to be told to clean our rooms. It's sometimes gotta be, you know, gotta clean our room.
Yeah.
And fresh mulch in your beds. Pull those weeds. You go past them every day. You don't really look at it anymore.
Or you do like me and go, I really need to get out there.
I really should get around to that.
Yeah. As far as like painting and things like that, do you have contractors on your little list of
I do.
reach outs? So
I do. I shop around and I keep a list, and I'm always looking for more vendors because what if they're busy? And I try to negotiate for the best deal even for my clients. So I don't just negotiate just for your house. I try to find people that will help you in the very best way that I can.
That's great. What is it that, I know that we kind of touched on this, but do you have anything specific that actually helps people make their houses look more appealing? Because when you're trying to sell a 1950s house, let's just say that, or a house that's built in the 80s that has it's not regular siding.
Right.
They just kind of try to make it fancy in the 80s.
Right.
What do you suggest people do to make it more appealing when they don't want to put a whole lot of, you know, $30,000, $40,000 into?
So I do staging for my own houses. And because, you know, again, since we're used to just living in our own house, we don't always have our furniture arranged. We do it for how we live. We don't do it for how it's going to look on the camera.
Yeah.
So I have a whole storage unit full of staging items.
That's
so I can make you shine the best that I can.
I know that when I was trying to sell a house, again, you know, in an older area, I did have somebody come in and do like a walkthrough with me.
Nice.
To tell me how to clear off my shelves. Oh my gosh, that was such a stressful time for me, right? But I was like, oh my gosh, after I got it all cleaned, I'm like, this is how I want to live.
Now you gotta pack 30 to 40% of it away, especially the personal photos. You want to take all those down.
But what do you do? I know that that's part of your service, is that you offer that to people. You walk through each of the rooms and you tell them what it is. Do you have a checklist that you give them?
I do.
I
do.
Very nice.
Because it's just easier to refer back to.
And then what sets you apart from other agents?
I do continuing education, and I have a lot of designations besides military, senior citizens, and this type of thing. But I also, it's important to me to problem solve and negotiate. So I do have the designation, but it's very important to me to advocate for my people. I have creativity even with sign placements for my open houses.
Hello, I'm Sandy Shook. This is Coffee with Sandy, heard every Saturday morning at 9:30 on KRDO News Radio. Hear past shows, you can go to krdo.com and search podcasts to hear them all. If you're interested in being on the show or sponsoring the show, you can reach out to me by text at 719-339-9637 or go to my website, coffeewithsandy.com. Our guest today is Sonya Emph. Sonya, let's go back to the last question that I asked you about what it is that sets you apart from other realtors in the region here.
Okay. So I attend at least one economic forum a year, so I can stay on top of the statistics, see how the market is flowing, so I can give you the best advice on the movement of your house, right? How we're going to position you in the market, the best strategy for you. And I also have an assistant. Her name is Penny.
Aww.
She lives with me. She's a 1.5-year-old Catahoula dog.
Aww.
She's a professional greeter. She helps me sort and with all the donations for foster kids and dogs.
Oh yes, I do want to talk about what you do for the neighborhoods, for the whole community, because you do collect different things for different organizations.
Correct.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So I met a lady named Becky from Cases of Love a few years ago, and she collects luggage for foster kids. That way they have their very own things. There's a lot of foster kids in my family. And that is important to me. And so I started realizing there's a greater need. Not just you might find out about her. So I started advocating for foster kids here in the community. And so I collect all sorts of things. And also for animals. Pets and fosters are super important to me. Well,
and what is the dog shelter that you actually donate a lot of your things to?
So I did have one in particular that I was working with, and then I realized there's a greater need. So the Colorado Pet Pantry works in unison with the American Red Cross.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
great. So for the fires that we've been having, things like that. So they do have several drop-off locations, and one is the Bijou Animal Hospital downtown. And they take all sorts of things, to include even your old t-shirts. They sanitize them and use them as an exterior wrap on top of bandages.
Oh wow.
To help the animals to keep from picking after surgery.
Yeah.
Things like that. Any overflow that they have, they give to the pet pantry.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
So going back to real estate, what makes a house more pet friendly?
So I have a pet friendly sign. Your yard is dog approved is my sign. And that means that it's going to be a high enough fence and it's in good condition. There's no nails sticking out. There's no missing boards.
So you do actually...
I actually walk the yard. So before I put my sign in there, I talk about it because I want you to be able to trust that, hey, my dog is going to be really happy here.
Yeah.
And then, also make sure about toxic plants, things like that. So
how would you know that? I mean, I guess you do your research.
Well, there's a list. But I can send them a list. But there's a list for interior plants and also exterior for what is safe for your pets. Because what one dog may not find interest, the next time you adopt a dog, they could be right towards that bush that may not be great for them.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, it's funny because I actually just discovered a couple weeks ago from somebody in one of my networking groups that I have a tree in my backyard, but it's native to Colorado.
Right.
And it's just kind of like I used that app to find out what kind of tree it was, to see if it was what he had actually talked about. But Are those apps good for determining whether it's good for an animal or not?
I think
or?
the technology is such that we do have the good apps for all that.
Mhm.
But also, like when you get a new roof on your house, you need to walk your yard for those nails that flew off.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yes, because that's a little dangerous.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For kids and pets.
Yeah, and then with now that you're talking about roofing, with gutters and windows, the seals around windows and things like that. I am certain that you do all that, but I wanted to bring that up because I don't know if I know that the inspections are important too.
Yes.
When somebody even has the inkling that they're going to buy a house with cash, can you emphasize what my opinion is as a lender that you should always get an inspection done on a home?
Absolutely. Even if you're paying cash, it doesn't matter. Always, because you at least want to know what you're up against and what your budget is going to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So never ever, for any reason.
Was there
budget.
anything that you ever ran into when you've done an inspection like that, that if they hadn't done it, they would never have known?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know what's going on necessarily behind the walls or up on the roof. We don't climb up on our roof.
Mhm.
So yeah, we've found all kinds of things. And because the inspections they take pictures so that we don't have to climb up there. But there
Mhm.
has been situations where there's leaks. It always seems like it's a water source that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and even hail, because when you
Yes.
look at just the shingles on the edge,
Right.
there's not that much damage. But then when you see the pictures of
Right. And people don't know, unless their house is leaking on the inside, there's no indication.
yeah.
And so the roofers that I work with, they give me a radar report.
Mm.
And so they know what day
Mhm.
the impact was, about what the size of, say, the hail is.
Yeah.
So there's technology out there. They just don't say. Like, they just come out and do an estimate. They're like, oh, yeah, you probably need a new
Yeah.
roof. Let's see the proof.
Right.
Give me the pictures.
So what are some things that you would other things that you'd like to share with listeners about what it's like to be in real estate, especially since 2020 when we all got crazy?
Right, the market has fluctuated back and forth. When I first came into it, it was a time of everybody just scrambling to get houses,
Mhm.
right? And then they wound up not being happy with the house because they didn't do a thorough walkthrough, or they felt because the market was so limited with houses, they just grabbed anything.
Yeah.
And then those people are now trying to sell. Well, you need to be in your home a minimum of 3 to 4 years before you start seeing equity on it.
Mhm.
So some people, might not be able to sell their house for the money that they think they can. So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to, do the comparables, find out what is your house worth,
Mhm.
and figure out the strategy. Because there's times that I've even told people, listen, if you're, especially military here, if you're only going to be here 2-3 years, it's probably time to rent.
That's where I started as a beginner. I started as owning a townhouse.
Right.
So that, and it was a smaller townhouse, but I knew that at least I was in something.
Right.
And I knew what my monthly payment was going to be. We can't rely on taxes and insurance every year to stay the same.
Or
but-
HOA fees, because those are a
Yeah.
starting price.
Yeah, but that's where it's very important to actually work with your lender and your realtor together.
Yeah, start out strong with your team.
Yeah, and also too, insurance.
Yes.
There are different insurance carriers too that will help you figure out, what the best
Because
route
you want
is
your
for you
quote
too.
before you commit to buying the house.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
if you're in a wooded area, not everybody
Yeah.
can insure that.
Right. All right. So I want to get more information before we run out of time so that the listeners know how to reach you. So can you give your information? Folks, she just gave me one of those looks.
So it sounds like a spam number. It's
Mhm.
719-888-0090. And you can find me on social media.
Great. And it's Sonya Emph.
Yes.
SONYAEMPH.
It's an acronym for excessive miles per hour. The cops don't think
And
that's
she's the
fine.
Empress.
That's right. The Empress of Real Estate.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you again, Sonya, for being on the show. If you're interested in being on the show or sponsoring the show, you can reach me at 719-339-9637 or my website, coffeewithsandy.com. I will see you next Saturday at 9:30. I'll have the coffee on.
Thank you for having me.